to the extent that you are able to find a third-party lender new, which is rare, to come in, or to the extent you need to convince the existing lenders to roll, in light of the uncertainty in the economy today, when you sit down as an investment committee and you're trying to figure out where revenue is going to go, and therefore where EBITDA might go, what kind of crystal ball do you use? I mean, there's such uncertain times out there that as a lender, and we also have a small private equity investment function as well, very difficult to figure out where the end users are. For example, we have an investment in a company that cleans office buildings for government agencies. They have long-term contracts, and unless the U.S. government goes out of business, that's probably a pretty stable revenue base that we can extrapolate going forward and make lending and credit and equity decisions on. But in 80% of the situations that we get involved in, private equity fund comes to us, looks for financing, or even in your investment committee. How do you look at the future with unemployment rate maybe going to 10, 15+%, and figure out where the revenue stream's going?
That's a good question, Ed. And you do the best that you can, and we try very much to err on the side of conservatism. So we don't forecast things getting any better. In fact, we forecast, as we're looking at things, we forecast 2009 to be worse than 2008 in almost every respect. But to your point, we don't know when it's going to end. We don't know how deep it's going to be. So you are, dealing in an environment of great uncertainty. And what that tends to do from our perspective is it's going to drive the valuation down, obviously, and it's going to force us to essentially over-equitize or provide more liquidity to the business, or if we don't do it at the time of the transaction, to certainly, as a group, as an investment firm, look at each other and say, there's a very good chance that we need to be prepared to put more capital into this business because we don't know exactly where it's going to go. But the visibility thing is a huge problem. I've never seen anything like this before, where literally week to week, you're kind of rethinking what's going to happen next year. I mean, we had 3 or 4 transactions in the third, fourth quarter of last year that we were taking a very hard look at, and the managements of those companies, and these were pretty strong management teams, at one point in September, October, just said, look, we're going to reforecast again, but know that we're going to reforecast again. We really don't know what to expect next year, and we're doing the best that we can, but kind of don't hold us to it. And that is a very difficult environment to invest in, no question about it.
If you go back a year and you sat with companies that were doing projections for, say, 2 years, no one had a problem providing projections. They had a sense of where it was going, and everybody was going up, and the conservatism was if it was like this, maybe they turn it like this, and there wasn't kind of the angst you have now about no one projecting. And it seems like the pendulum, to me, has swung so dramatically to the other side.
Yeah, I think when you see, and we obviously have a portfolio that we own today, and we have a lot of confidence in our managers, but when they come to us and say, our bookings are off 50% year over year in the month of December, you almost don't know what to say to that. And we have, our approach always is manage to cash. That's what we do as a distressed investor. You do that. So it's not like we're saying to these guys, okay, change your strategy, start managing for cash now. I mean, that's what these guys know how to do. And they're doing it, but nonetheless, when you see your top line fall by that much, that quickly, it kind of makes your jaw drop. And you're just kind of in awe. The one business that we have that is actually not just meeting its revenue projections but exceeding it, interesting enough, is adult incontinence. So take from that what you will, but that's actually the case, that the business is doing fantastic. And the top line is growing more rapidly than expected. And so, there are pockets in the economy where things are doing okay, but just not very many of them, unfortunately.
Wow.